Okay, this is my second video. In my first video we looked at the M3 trench knife and the M6 scabbard. In this one we're going to mix it up a little bit, and we're going to show you some trench knives. Then we'll move along to bayonets, and last but not least, Paratrooper M2 jump knives. Okay, let's take a look at the first trench knife. This is a 1918 LF&C knuckle knife. The scabbard is made by LF&C, and it's been modified by the addition of this leather strip to make it more easy to affix to the belt. LF&C blades are unmarked, as they should be. Screw-on pommel nut. This is all original. Now, as I said before, these were first issued in World War I, and in the beginning of World War II, the remaining stockpiles were reissued. A lot of them went to paratroopers, and originally this guard rounded out on both sides. It would get in the way and poke, so a lot of people would grind these down to make the guards flat, so it would fit flush up against the skin without causing any personal injury. So again, this knife was reissued in World War II. Now, moving along, we'll dip back into the M3 trench knife again. Three types of M3 trench knife is blade dated, blade marked, and guard marked. And they were issued with two different types of scabbards. The M6, which is the leather scabbard on top, and the first generation M8, which is the scabbards right here. We'll take a look first at the first to be issued. This is a blade dated Imperial, US M3 Imperial, 1943. If you notice, Imperial has plastic spacers, top and bottom of the leather handle, although they did make versions with just straight leather handles. The black plastic spacers would be found on blade dated and early blade marked knives, and they had a reddish brown spacer that was later on used for guard mark versions. The ordnance mark. There we go. Now, the scabbard, as I said, is a leather M6. This one here is a Viner Brothers US M6, Viner Brothers, 1943. You'll notice the plate to the front and back, so you wouldn't stick yourself in the leg. 1910 belt hooks. And we'll move along. This next specimen is a blade marked, not dated, case in an M8 scabbard, short, no belt hook. US M3 case, no date. Case is odd ordnance mark, and the rounded case peening. Now, at some point, they decided to remove the markings from the blade. They had a lot of blade failures, and they figured that the stamping with the name of the company on the blade was weakening the blade, so they decided to move it to the guard. This can be seen on this kinfolk's card marked M3. US M3 KI for kinfolk zinc. No marking on the blade. See the ordnance mark, starburst peen. And that is a guard marked or third generation M3 trench knife. Now, when they phased out the M3, it was replaced by the M4 bayonet. Now, the M4 bayonet is basically an M3 trench knife that's been modified to fit the M1 carbine. You'll note that this M8 scabbard is a little longer, and it's been fitted with a 1910 belt hook. That is the proper scabbard for the M4. Now this is an Imperial M4. It's very sharp, great point. Bayonet catches. Ring to fit over the barrel. And markings. A little difficult to see. US M4 Imperial. And let's put the M4 back. And next we will take a look at some M1 Garand bayonets. Now, originally, M1 Garand bayonets came in these full 16-inch size. Later on, they decided that these were too long, so they started to cut down the 16-inch bayonets, making them quite rare, until eventually they started making them in the 10-inch version without having to cut these down. Now, the first one we're going to take a look at is the rarest of the M1 Garand bayonets. This one is made by Oneida Tool. It's marked WT, US with the ordnance mark in the middle, 1943. The blade is in pretty good condition. And you'll note the two-tone grips. These grips are particular to Oneida. Oneida never made a 10-inch version. Their contract was dropped before the 10-inch version came out. Most of these were cut down, so to find one in this condition is quite rare. The one next to it is almost as rare. This one is made by Olean. Again, 16-inch. The markings, OL, US 1942. Blade is in amazing condition. Olean comes with a black handle. As I said, when they stopped cutting these down, they decided to make a 10-inch version, which we have represented here with this PAL. PAL, US with the ordnance mark, standard black handle. And then we'll move along to the M2 General knives. These were issued to paratroopers. They're switchblades. This is the most common version. It's got the brown bone pick handles. Making out these markings will be impossible, but it says Schrade Cutco, Walden, New York, and lists patent dates on the rear. Next we have a rare all metal. This one was originally painted black. Most of the paint is gone. This one is marked Presto, made in the USA. George Schrade, Bridgeport, Connecticut on the reverse. This is original also. Next we have one more to take a look at. And again, all metal, painted black. This one is marked Presto, patent, June 30th, June 30-40, made in the USA. And on the reverse we have George Schrade, Knife Company, Inc., Bridgeport, Connecticut. Those are 3 M2 jackknives. And until we make our next video tomorrow, have a good night.